named after this mountain, it would be called the Red Mountain Parkway. It would connect the growing Falcon Field area of East Mesa with the planned outer loop along Price Road, and it would support a projected population influx in North Mesa over coming years. But it would also cut into this sleepy little valley, and that's causing some controversy. Many of the people who live here were born and raised in this area called Lehigh, and a major new parkway bringing people through this area they call home concerns many of them. Makes them wonder if they can keep their lifestyle intact. Art Freeman says his family has lived in the Lehigh Valley over 80 years now. He owns a 200-acre citrus farm and says he planted every one of the 25,000 trees here himself. There are 2 proposed routes for the parkway. Both would cut through his land.
We raised our families here for a purpose and a reason, the rural atmosphere.
Would that road change this?
Well, we feel that it would enough that we're trying to discourage it. Yeah, we feel that way as a community. That we have the quietness, yeah. I can walk out the back door and quail talk to me early morning, late evening. Just a lot of things. You've seen our view of Red Mountain, Four Peaks Superstition. Got one of the prettiest views in the whole valley. Yeah, I'm emotionally involved.
Freeman says if they're going to build a parkway anywhere, it should be here on the bank of the Salt River. An elevated road or adjacent dike would not only bring the parkway through, it would calm fears in Lehigh that the next big flood could leave much of this land underwater.
The city staff really likes that idea, and we support that idea.
If you like it and the residents of Lehigh like it, why not go for it?
Well, I think the only question remains is to gain approval to get the alignment across the Indian lands that are a portion of that alignment.
Part of the roadway would cross Salt River Indian Reservation land, and Herring says the city is having difficulty getting a firm commitment from the Indians. Mesa officials are anxious to get some word, though, because they'd like to have a few miles of the parkway open within 3 years. Ron Hoon, News Center 10.
I said, please don't joke when it comes to money. He said, I'm not joking, the price went up. I said, no, you mean down. He said, no, I mean up. I says, okay. I says, I don't know whether you want to sell any gas or not, but we'll help you not sell gas if that's what you want.
Until yesterday, Langer says cars were lined up at his pumps. As you can see, there were no lines today.
I've lost about half to 3/4 of my business just in the past 2 days since they've increased their price.
An ARCO spokesman in Los Angeles said the company does not discuss the reasons for price increases. But several ARCO dealers said they were told the price went up because ARCO is trying to stabilize prices industry-wide, prices that have been dropping for months.
What I don't understand is how anybody's going to raise a price and stabilize a market when OPEC just announced that they were decreasing the price. It doesn't sound logical to me.
But what is a puzzle to ARCO dealers is a pleasant surprise to the competition. For the first time in almost a year, this Texaco dealer is selling gas for less than the ARCO dealer across the street.
I don't know how long it'll last. If we can maintain a lower cost per gallon, it's definitely going to increase our gallonage and business.
Those who put the project together call what you see here a micro-utility. These solar panels are part of a complete system that produces energy, which in turn is sold to customers. Not unlike APS or SRP, but obviously on a much smaller scale. The customers are the owners of the 78 condominium units.
We are replacing their current hot water heating system in its entirety at no cost to them, and they have no maintenance cost over a 15-year period.
At the current rates, each household will save an estimated average of $7 a month. The system will provide hot water and also heat the pool and jacuzzi. Homeowners seem to feel they've nothing to lose.
It'll be a good idea.
I think it'll be exciting to see what happens.
And I'm all for it.
But the question remains, who's paying for the system? The answer, a group of individual investors who'll receive both federal and now state tax credits.
There is a total of 60% direct tax credits available to an investor. Now this is different from the credit that's available to a homeowner putting solar units on his own home.
In In addition, the investors receive income from the homeowners who pay for the energy. Arizona Micro Utilities brings together the investors and the solar companies, in this case, Glacial Plumbing and Solar. Investors in this project are expected to receive back 90 cents on the dollar the first year, plus about a 15% after-tax return each year. More if natural gas rates go up.
Airport officials and taxi drivers have settled into a truce. In the 11 months since state deregulation, the ground transportation system at Sky Harbor has produced more than its share of controversies. But at least for the time being, the controversies have subsided.
It's getting better. You know, they're trying to smooth out things, and I think eventually, you know, they'll get it where it's right. Everybody will make no money, and you won't be gouging, and everything will be fine at the airport.
But there were times in the past year when everything was not fine. Visitors complained of price gouging and of rates that varied widely from cab to cab. An attempt by the city to limit the number of cab companies serving the airport was ruled illegal. But now, free enterprise may be working out the kinks, and airport officials don't plan to enact more rules.
It won't be any more. City Council has requested that we continue the operation here with a minimum of control.
Said one airport official, at least now we're on speaking terms with the cabbies, and that's a big improvement. John Kane, News Center 10.
Superstition Freeway has been a primary impetus in the development along that area. Employment opportunities is extended. One of the biggest differences between the last housing boom and this one is the employment opportunities in that area.
A new employment source in Mesa is the Hughes helicopter plant. In Chandler, high-tech firms are moving in where once there was farmland. Employers like Intel.
It has, you know, the proximity, if you will, to Arizona State. It's on the right side of town. There's a lot of industrial parkland being developed down there. As we get into the high-tech era, I think Chandler's going to get probably more than its fair share. Sure.
Fast-growing Chandler has 42,000 people and an average cost for a single-family home of around $82,000. Mesa is the third biggest city in the state with nearly 187,000 people. The average home here runs nearly $68,000. The other major city in the East Valley is Tempe, the home of Arizona State University. The average home in Tempe costs $77,000, and 133,000 people live here. But Tempe is running out of room.
Tempe is landlocked. Tempe is surrounded on all sides now, and it's going to be mostly filling in its space. It's like all cities, it's increased its activity, and it's expanded its activity. It's got a good industrial economic base, but it's simply running out of land.
Just north of Tempe is Scottsdale, a town that has only one way to grow, north. New employment may come in that area around Scottsdale Airport. Nearly 100,000 people call Scottsdale home, and they go home to the most expensive houses in the valley, with a median price of over $120,000.
I think the name Scottsdale has a very sexy, if you will, ring to it. It's obviously very well known around the country, and I think people like to say they're from Scottsdale.
During the 70s, the fastest growing area of the valley was North Phoenix. North of Bell Road, there are over 62,000 people, a 715% increase since 1970. The growth has been spurred by high-tech employers who moved in near the Black Canyon Freeway. In this area, the average home would sell for around $68,000. Glendale has grown to over 100,000 people today, and the average home costs about $65,000. But Glendale hasn't developed an employment base as large as other valley communities, so much of its growth may continue to come from people who work elsewhere. A major realtor in West Phoenix says his area's average home price is about $61,000. 170,000 people live in the area of West Phoenix, but it's been slow to grow.
I don't know why we can't get the reputation we deserve out here. This is a good family area to live in.
It's probably a safe bet that this area, which has been slow to develop, will soon begin to grow. Thanks to what you see around me, the Papago Freeway under construction. Within a couple of years, it'll be finished into 27th Avenue, a vital link to downtown Phoenix and an inevitable spur to growth for the West Valley. And then, of course, there is Central Phoenix. It's an area that offers close-in living to people who work in midtown or downtown offices. While most of the area has been developed, many feel existing homes have plenty to offer home buyers.
From northern south, from 19th on the west to maybe 32nd on the east. If you drive those neighborhoods, you'll see some for sale signs on some awfully nice homes.
Until now, the Apache Junction airport dispute has been a federal issue. The Federal Aviation Administration has okayed plans for the airport, even though Williams Air Force Base says the airport would be too close and too dangerous. Now, the legislature has joined the fray. This committee approved a bill making it illegal for a public airport to be built within 20 miles of a military airport. It could effectively scuttle plans for the Apache Junction airport. The bill is a response to Air Force officials who have hinted that Williams Air Base might be closed if the Apache Junction airport is built.
Approval of the proposed Apache Junction airport forces us to review our pilot training resources with relocation of the mission at Williams, a very real possibility.
Williams Air Base has been a good friend and neighbor of this state for years, since the 40s, and I think that I would do everything in my power to keep them here.
But an Apache Junction lawmaker complained that the bill was an attempt to change the rules in the middle of the game.
I just saw it here 10 minutes ago. Didn't realize that was going to be, people were going to be here to talk on this today.
There will no doubt be further changes in the bill, and there will no doubt be an outcry from Apache Junction officials, none of whom was at this afternoon's hearing. But what is certain is that the legislature will do all it can to keep Williams Air Force Base right where it is. At the state capitol, John Kane, News Center 10.
A muddy track forced horse racing onto the grass today to ensure good running at Turf Paradise. But negotiations tomorrow between the Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association and track owners are not expected to run that smoothly. At issue is the refusal by track owners to automatically pay 1% of the purse to the HBPA. HBPA represents most of the owners and trainers.
The Turf Paradise position is that the horsemen should be free to choose whether they pay their dues to the HBPA.
With anything, if you take away their funding, then you take away all of the organization. And I say that he doesn't want our organization by the fact that he's fighting our funding, which is something that he has completed for the last 2 years.
Because of this dispute, many of the horse owners and trainers kept their animals out of several races this past week. While talks and racing continue, an official of the Arizona Racing Commission says he hopes a solution can be found in the next 10 days because further delays could jeopardize the remainder of the racing season. Marcus Wright, News Center 10.